Yeah, of course. Ultimately, the first objective is always to qualify for the tournaments, and our performances earlier in the group have put us in a really strong position. So, although the first thing we want to do is win the game, play well, win the game, but we know if it's the 87th minute and we're level, then we don't need to lob the goalkeeper into the box at the end of the game. Yes, 100%. I'll always pick the players that I think are the best players to represent the team, that give us the best chance of winning, unless there's something that I feel is not appropriate. In this instance, people may disagree with Jordan's stance or decision, given the stance he's taken in the past to support the LGBT community, but I don't think that's a reason to not select him, and I don't actually think that's a reason to boo him. So we would like all the fans behind us. We're a stronger team if the supporters are with us and wholeheartedly supporting the team. That's the connection we've had over a long period of time now. Yeah, we'll assess Jordan like every other player, but if I just select on popularity contest, then our team would look very, very different. Well, I will always assess how people are playing and assess what's our strongest team and our strongest squad. So it wouldn't be fair to say I'm going to support the players and select them regardless of what they're capable of, if better younger players come through, but I am also going to defend our players, our team, because we need that unity, we need that strength, and the two players you're talking about have performed again and again and again in massive games for us, and their quality, their experience, the unmeasurable factors that we have as a group because of that team spirit and that togetherness that have brought us good results and important big results. I think their sort of characters are a big part of the reason we've had those big nights. Yeah, hopefully what I explained at the start would explain why I said I don't understand it, in that I don't understand why we would boo our own team. As I said earlier, what I do understand is that people would feel that the decision Jordan made to go and play there doesn't align with his, strong support of the LGBTQ community in the past. I've not seen him comment anywhere differently. I don't believe he's an individual whose values and principles have changed, and I would back him against pretty much everybody in the country in terms of what he stands for, what he believes in. But I accept that the decision to go and play there doesn't align with that. So he understands that, he accepts that. But I repeat, when we're playing for England, I feel as if everybody should be behind the team, but if people choose not to be, then we have to deal with that. Experience of winning big matches, consistent performances. We've been ranked in the top 5 in the world now since 2018, so I don't think there's been any other period over the last 30-40 years where that's been the case. So these boys are consistently producing big nights, memorable nights, good performances, exciting performances in general, and we want to keep doing that. He will. The England fans, I think, are brilliant with him. They were brilliant with him that night. I think he's, well, the whole team, they're behind the team, really. We've had a couple of incidents that I don't understand, because I don't think any player wearing an England shirt warrants that. I grew up seeing John Barnes receive that sort of criticism and other players over the years, so that's never helped the team. We should be always about the team, and then if you have an opinion about a player outside of that, fine, no problem. But I think we're all trying to achieve the same thing. We're all trying to create a successful England team, have an environment where, you know, there's been one of the best connections between the team and the public for many a decade, and we want to keep doing that. Well, I think, I mean, we don't really have a winter break here. We fudge something. But I think the players are well conditioned. Medical and science support is good. I'm only repeating what I've said in the past, really. We keep adding more and more competitions and nobody takes anything out. So I think incredible challenge coming up for the clubs that are going to be in the Club World Cup, and what that will look like and how they'll approach that and then go into the following season. We're always mindful of the welfare of the players. We want to have our best players available for the really important games, and even this week we've felt it appropriate to manage the group. So that's another challenge for us, in that we've expected to win games still and produce good performances and everything else. So we'll never risk players. We have good relationships medically with the clubs. I think they trust us to look after their players. You can never guarantee anything because contact injuries can happen, but we try to reduce that possibility as much as we can.
No, it's not nice to hear. I've known against Sheffield United v Sunderland, so to see what he's done for the country for so many years, and what he does for around the team as well, as we know him, you know, it's a family in there, and we spend, as we have done, a week together in a hotel, you know, and he's a big part of the togetherness and keeping the group, you know, together and making sure that everyone feels welcome when, you know, new players come in or people step in. So to hear that, it's obviously it's not nice to hear, but people are entitled to their opinions. But you know, I fully, you know, back Jordan and, you know, his decision and what he's had to do. I like it when it's when it helps us out, and I don't like it when it doesn't help us out. So I feel that sometimes it does take away the talk about football. You know, when you're talking with your mates, and you know, was it a goal? Was it offside? Was it not offside? And I feel that it does take that out of it. But sometimes that obviously does make an error as well, which they've, you know, come out and said sorry to Liverpool for about that. So you know, it's football. There's going to be opinions and who's right and who's wrong. I think we've got used to it over the number of years, that especially at club level with me, that you're playing every, you know, 3 or 4 days at a maximum. So your body actually just comes when football is going to be played or not going to be played. I have a job to do, whether that's representing my club or country, to turn up and play the games that you know, I'm chosen to play. So as for that, you know, I can't really comment if it's right or wrong, but you know, when I'm, you know, available to play and I feel fit, then I will give it my all.
Over the years that you have been playing, though, do you believe the match minutes, the intensity of the game, the number of games, the lack of break is affecting or impacting players like never before?
I think it's always going to. So the more you play, the more, you know, risk of injury and stuff like that. I mean, especially with the added minutes that are getting on in the Premier League now. But I don't think it's for me to start, you know, commenting on or questioning. I would just have to get on with it. We play the games and we don't complain, and we just keep moving forward.
Just on that, your age, there was a lot spoken about your international career and how you had to be talked into carrying on. Do you have a time in your mind when you think you may stop?
I'm going to keep going forever now.
Okay, Kerry.